Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at seductionpower.com. Okay, so who is the ultimate Stoic? So for about, I would say 20 plus years, I have had an image that I've shown in my books, well, maybe not all my YouTube videos, but a lot of my YouTube videos on my homepage, not now, but in the past, of my website. It's had its own page. It's intermixed with other products, etc. Now, this is an image that was designed by somebody who used to work for Lucas, I forget the name of his, Lucas Studios or whatever it was called. He also worked for Pixar. He worked for I think it was Disney something Productions. So this guy is a phenomenal artist. So I was fortunate enough to come across this image, this photo, this piece of art that he made. And I fell in love with it, and I was like, this is it. Like, this image is my business. Now, at the time, I didn't really think in terms of stoicism and all that stuff, but I realized like this image is what creates everything that women are attracted to, because it goes all the way back to ancient times when it was the origination of human development. Like, our brains were growing, they were developing, they were making neurological connections. You have to understand, when you go back far enough, the human brain has developed massively over thousands of years. It's not the same as what it was, say, 3,000-4,000 years ago. It has developed. One thing you have to understand, I studied psychology in college on top of NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, Reiki, Huna, pranic healing. I'm also a human behaviorist. I study human behavior and animal behavior. Now, the more you study this stuff, the more you understand the wiring, the neurology, and you start to see behaviors. You're like, oh, I know where that came from. It becomes obvious. It's not like a wild guess. Same thing with body language books. When you look, I remember someone told me, like, all you have to do is read one decent body language book, and all of a sudden you'll start noticing other different body languages and stuff that weren't taught in that book. Once your brain knows how to look for it and what to look for, it starts picking up on more stuff. So a great author that I like to recommend his name is Desmond Morris, okay? He wrote a book called The Human Zoo, and then he wrote another book called, well, he actually wrote quite a few books, so these are the two off the top of my head. He wrote another book called The Naked Ape, the controversial classic of man's origins. Now, I'm listening to this stoicism video, and he's talking about, women want unpredictability, and they want to feel the stress, and they want this, and they want that. Well, where did all this originate from? So, when I started to see this more than 25 years ago, it was about not quite 30 years ago, I started going, oh, wait a minute. She was always chasing the caveman. So when you try to appease her, when you try to make her happy, when you try to go to her to give her stuff, it's her neurology goes, whoa, 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 whoa. It's something's not right here. It doesn't make sense to her nervous system. Her nervous system is used to chasing the caveman. And that's why I call this primal seduction. Now, I've made videos, I'm going to show the image in a second here, but in the caveman era, even it was really all the way up to about 1940 or just before that, women really had to work hard to keep their husband if she had children, because like, well, how was she going to survive without him? It wasn't really until around the 60s and 70s and 80s where women started going to college. They got the pill. Now they had control over their own body and getting pregnant. Now they could go to college and get educated and start making a lot of money and buy their own home. Now they don't need you. But it's still hardwired in her to chase you. See, this is where the modern male screws up, because our mothers taught us to appease women, to please women, and to make her happy. And it turns out this literally goes against her neurology and her mating system, and it makes her feel like, oh, I need to find another mate, because with this guy, something's not solid, something's not right. You gotta understand, when a caveman got up in the morning and he was hungry, he looked around the tundra, saw animal, and he stalked it. He hunted it down, he ran after it, and he killed it, and he ate his breakfast. It would behoove her to chase him, literally, to make sure she gets some food. Otherwise, she wouldn't survive. She would have died a long time ago. But Mike, we have grocery stores now. We have farms. We have people who do this for us. She doesn't need a man. You're right. She doesn't need a man. But it's still hardwired into her to chase you. If you chase her, her system shuts down. I mean, she loses all attraction for you. She's just going, whoa, whoa, something's not right here. Okay, and she loses interest, and she just kind of moves on and tries to find another guy to chase. That's why a lot of the nice guys are like, I don't understand. I did everything for her. I did all this. Exactly, you did it for her. So imagine what it's like. She's a cave girl. She's a cave woman. She's not very powerful. She's definitely not powerful enough to survive on her own. Okay? So this caveman has connected with her, and if she gets pregnant by him, she's kind of fucked if she doesn't have a caveman to help her get some food when she's 6, 7, 8, 9 months pregnant, and she's carrying a kid that's 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 1 year, 2 years old in her arms. She's not going to be able to hunt very well. She can't leave her child there. A freaking dingo is going to come along and eat the baby when it's crying if she's out there 2 miles away hunting or fishing. So female cave women, or cave girls, whatever you call them, they got really good at making him happy. They worked at it. They worked very hard. They massaged him. They soothed his wounds. They healed his bruises, and they learned different things on how to clean his cuts. And she cooked and she cleaned and she did whatever she could to make him go, yeah, I'm gonna keep her around, yeah. Because if not, he's like, yeah, fuck this B word, and he's gonna move on to someone else. Now, I'm not saying this is politically correct. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. But it's nature, Mother Nature, truth, whether you like it or not. So we're living in a funny era where our mothers from about the 40s, probably, well, it started then, but it really kicked in around the late 60s, mid 60s to 70s. Like, our mothers started raising their boys to be good, to follow rules, to do as they're told, to appease her, to please her, to make sure she's taken care of, to make sure she's blah, 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 and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, like, divorce went through the roof. Now, I was teaching this to a guy who flew out from the Midwest. He had his doctorate degree from Harvard. He was a marriage family counselor. He had his doctorate degree in psychology. So I'm out here teaching how men need to be internal, they need to think for themselves, and I'm teaching him all this stuff and how the female mating system is wired. He's like, yeah, because that's true. So all this scientific stuff, he's like, yeah, because I learned that. And this is the thing that I find bizarre. All these doctors, these scientists that understand this, like, you never once thought, well, wait a minute. If her mating systems connect to her right brain's communication center, that would mean there would be a right brain language that would trigger her sexually and turn her on. Yet, they never seemed to get that. They knew the nerve curved off that way, but they never put the pieces together. So I'm teaching him all this stuff. So now here's the deal. He was getting really quiet during this phase when I was saying, hey, in order for a woman to be happy, she has to work really hard at making a man happy. He got really quiet. I could tell he was getting offended because that's not what he was taught. So what I tell men now is like, if you're working hard to make a woman happy, I guarantee you she will be the most miserable woman you've ever met in your life, especially if you're married, because she feels like she's stuck, but in her nervous system is telling her, find someone else, find a better mate. And then I tell men, if she's working hard to please you and make you happy, I guarantee you will have the happiest woman on the planet. It is a part of their DNA. It is a part of their wiring. Now, again, I'm not saying this is politically correct. I'm saying if a woman doesn't have an outlet where she can work hard in some way to keep you around, to work at keeping you, to holding on to you, to appeasing you, to cooking and cleaning and massaging you, doing something for you, she's not going to be happy. And sexually, she's going to lose all interest. It's going to turn her off, and she's going to have to find someone else. Now, I'm saying this to him now, and there's some other things I was teaching him. He's really quiet, and I looked at him like, you're realizing right now everything that you've been teaching couples is why the divorce rate in this country is more than 50% for 2 years. So that's the thing in the United States of America. Marriages, 50% of marriages end up in divorce in 2 years or less. I remember exactly what we were talking about. I was telling him, if a wife starts getting angry and yelling at her husband, that what he needs to do is calmly, quietly grab his coat, grab his keys, walk out the door and get in his car or whatever and drive down to the nearest local bar or his buddy's house or whatever and just go do your thing, man. And then come back about an hour or two later, and I guarantee you, when he walks back in the door, she's going to be happy. She's going to hug him. She's going to kiss him. Now, I had another client who was also a psychologist. His name was Mark. He was a lot younger. He's actually on my testimonial page. I've got a new website. I haven't uploaded the testimonial page yet, but we're getting there. So if you see my last website and the ones before that, his name is Mark. So when I said this to him, now Mark's from the Middle East. So he was born here, but his parents are from Iran, right? And he's looking at me. At first he was like, no, Mike, we're taught to tell our clients that you got to stay there and you got to talk it out with her and you got to work it through. I go, really? That's the absolute worst thing you could possibly do. She's going to get angrier and angrier and angrier, and that's going to build on the relationship. They're going to end up in fucking divorce. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, do you really think a caveman would do that? He'd just fucking walk away. He would not give a fuck. She's hormonal, she's in her emotions, and the only thing you can do by trying to talk it out or argue it out is just going to make her angrier, and it's just going to destroy the marriage. And then when I told Mark, I said, you know what you do? You don't yell, you don't scream, you calmly grab your keys, you grab your coat, you walk out the door, and you go down to the nearest bar, have a couple beers, hang out with your buddies, have a burger, and then go home 2-3 hours later. And I promise you, the minute you walk in the door, his wife, your wife, is going to hug you and kiss you. And, what do you want me to make you? I'll make you anything. And he looks at me and he's grinning. I'm like, and I already knew. And I go, let me guess, this is exactly what your mom does. And he starts laughing. He goes, yeah. He goes, every time my dad does it, he gets his keys, he grabs his coat, he just walks out the door, doesn't say a word, comes home 2 or 3 hours later, and my mom is so happy. She hugs him, she kisses him. I go, and how long had they been married? He goes, they've been married before I was born. He goes, Michael, they've been married about 40 years. This is caveman shit, guys. I'm telling you. Meet the ultimate stoic. Rah, me caveman. Now look at him. Actually, look at him. This dude is living his life his way. Now let me go. Now I'm going to tell you what they were saying in this video. So the video goes on to say, be kind, be nice, something like care for her, take care of her, something like that. He says, sounds good, sounds nice on paper, but in the real world, the so-called nice guy doesn't get chosen. Now, everything I teach in my course, and I've been teaching for 30 years, like, look at the caveman. Do you think he really is going to ask permission to go to McDonald's to get a hamburger? Do you think he's going to wake up in the morning on the tundra, hungry as fuck, and go, honey, can I go over there and catch some of those ducks? I'm hungry. He doesn't give a shit. Here's the point that he doesn't give a shit. It never crossed his mind in his entire life to ask her. Never even thought about it. He just got up. I'm hungry. There's food. Oh, he would go running across the tundra, and he went and got the food. And again, if she wanted to survive and live, she would chase after him and catch up. And this chasing after him is hardwired into a female system. So when you turn and face a woman and go towards her, it makes her neurology go, alarm, fire alarm, something's not right. And it's not even that she's mad at you, she just kind of loses interest. I'm like, okay, well, I got to go somewhere else. Now, in the modern world, if she's in a relationship, because you got to be committed, or if you're married, you got to be committed, she'll get angry at you because she can't just leave, because all of her friends and family going, yo, you're in a marriage or you're in a committed relationship. What are you doing? You can't just leave for no reason. But if a woman could leave for no reason, that's exactly what she would do if she didn't have societal pressures on her. She would just be like, yeah, this isn't working. Now, most men think women want certainty. They don't, because now it sounds kind of counterintuitive, But you have to remember, it's wired into her to experience uncertainty in life. So the caveman, he fights, he battles, he hunts, he's there, he's gone. It's like, it's literally in the caveman era, life was essentially terrifying. This is what's hardwired into most, I don't want to say most women, into all women. If life is this perfect, calm, certain experience, she gets bored. And not only bored, but it's like something doesn't feel right. This is why when you're really nice to a girl, you buy her things, you take her places, you do things for her. It's kind of like, number one, there's no challenge. Number two, there's no fear. There's no uncertainty. There's no contrast. She wants to go for a ride because this is the way life has always been up until very recently. In the United States and Western countries, we have it pretty smooth. I mean, it really is. It's like, but in reality, real life has always been this terrifying up and down. There's good times, there's bad times. You know, she wakes up and he takes off. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on, so she just starts running after him for safety and food. You know, it's just this constant sense of uncertainty. And believe it or not, but this is very stimulating to a woman's system, and women love stimulation. Without stimulation, they get bored. If they get bored, they seek stimulation. Now, there's something called contrast. I teach men how to communicate and express their ideas and thoughts and stories by giving contrast. Now, I'm not going to break it down, but essentially, instead of just saying this one way, you find something that contrasts it, and then you add that in, and all of a sudden her brain goes, oh, it adds clarity to communication. Contrast is a huge part of women's experiences in life, but most men don't talk like that. They're direct. They speak in the direct language, which is always to the point. It's always direct. There's no contrast. There's no anything. So therefore, it's almost like it's this one-sided experience, and she's like, well, where's the other side? So life was always full of highs and lows and ups and downs, and this is hardwired into her system. Now, the modern male, though, especially in Western countries, we're stable because life in general is even when we go through God, what do we call it now? We call it it's not called the depression. We went through this, I think, twice in the last 20 years. It's called like when everything's down, stocks are down, finances down, people are struggling for money. Even some banks went out of business like around 2005 or 2008, whenever that happened. We were in a recession, and God, people used to freak out. Now it's like even when you're in a recession, you got plenty of food, you got a roof over your head. I mean, things are good. You know, it's for the most part, most people, even during one of the worst periods of time in like 2 decades, they're not stressed. And it's not like it was back in the 40s, man. Okay, I'm not going to break this down anymore. I want to end this video, but for now, women like and they need, it's part of their neurology, they need to be stimulated. I will obviously go through this and teach you how to do this through using language alone and other things, but the language alone, you can create a very stimulating experience and environment for a woman to fully and completely and enjoy being in your presence with. All right, that's it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and as always, buy one of my dating relationship books or the ultimate package, which has all my books plus the bonus section. Go to seductionpower.com and read my book, Crack the Female Code.